Hey everybody, hello all survivors of non-consensual human experimentation. It's January 3rd, 2019, and I kind of wanted to do a live stream tonight. I have some articles that I want to go over. I'm experiencing like a severe, the severe high pitched tinnitus sound, like mostly on my left side because this ear is still stopped up, and it's really bad right now. So I was kind of going over in my head whether I should do a video or not, but I was like, man, I need to get information out. This is a new year, so I want to, I want to throw myself out there. I want to, just get more awareness out there and keep going. Hurting pretty bad from the targeting, but I'm going to try and just forget that and kind of go forward. I have some things that I want to go over first. First, I'm going to find the chat room because I can't see who's coming in. But hello to anybody who's coming to the chat. I hope y'all are doing good. Like, I hope y'all are finding some peace, some defenses that really work. But I wanted to go over first something that I kind of wanted to focus on for the new year. And it's a saying that I found, but hold on one second, guys. I still can't hear anything out of this ear. I thought it was getting better kind of, but it really hurts. And there's like a lot of high pitch ringing because it's like when you're stopped up this ear. Hey guys, hey Native Neuropterus, hey Charlotte, hey Future Knowledge, hey Blue Diamond. I'm going to share my screen real quick because I was going over these kind of spiritual sayings and things that we think of to materialize a reality. So, we want to be free. Like, we want the pain to stop, the torture to stop. And I'm a Christian, so, I try and reach out to God and ask him for his help and ask for him to put positive things in my way while I'm fighting this. We've really got to, when we reach out for those things, we've really got to believe. Like, when we ask the universe for something, we've got to visualize that it's already happened, that we found that thing, that we found freedom, that we found peace, even if it's not, just stopping this program, that it's something that keeps us going, something that frees us or gives us a little bit more relief in our life. So I want to go through some of these sayings. I'm going to share my screen real quick. And I hope all you guys are doing good. I hope you had a good New Year's. I didn't really do anything for New Year's. I actually slept through it, and I woke up later. But then New Year's Day, Ella had a really good conference call with like Jack Christiana, Karen Stewart on there, Dr. Matthew Aarons, just a bunch of people, everybody who's doing, things in the community and trying to get this stopped. It was a really good New Year's Day call because just so many people are coming at this again, and I'm getting my millionth win, coming. Somehow I'm going to do it, because I have been getting hit really hard. I know a lot of you guys have too, especially when this sinus infection happened. It's like they've been making my head ring just like crazy, my attackers. But just throwing all that off, throwing off all the negativity and just coming at this because people are starting to understand. People are starting to know about this stuff. The DOD is writing articles about, directed energy. They're actually having I'm going to go over one of those articles. They're actually having a directed energy conference about research and development. So they're talking about how they want to be more open about the research that they're doing with this. Now, I don't know. I don't think they're ever going to come out and say that they're experimenting on innocent, targets, on innocent people. But they're getting closer and closer to just saying that. And these are not articles like on conspiracy websites. These are not articles even in alternative news. These are articles straight from the DOD. They have a lot of sources where they get all these journalists and they write about new things that they're doing with directed energy weapon systems. They write about neurotechnology and all this stuff. So it's like right out in everybody's face. Just the mainstream news isn't reporting it. So it's kind of our job to find these things and then bring it up further, from the DS, I think it's the DSAIC. It's basically the Department of Defense, like writing about, all these plans they have for directed energy weapons, all the new stuff coming out. I'm going to read some of those, but I wanted to go over this first. I'm not going to ramble too much tonight because I really just, my head feels really horrible with the ringing and stuff. I'm having kind of a hard time communicating, but I wanted to read this. And, I guess in New Age thinking, or, people who meditate, maybe people who don't believe in God necessarily, but are spiritual, this is the kind of saying that they use. Now, when I say it, and I'll read it real quick, the law of attraction. Close your eyes and visualize having what you already want and feeling the feeling of having it already. Focus on being grateful for what you have already and enjoy it. Then release it into the universe, and the universe will manifest it. So when I say those things, like when I say that saying, because I really believe that a lot, and I've said it a lot, when I pray to God about this, and like, God, please help me, against this terrible torture. Please help me to find something that can defend me. I imagine that he's already given me that thing. I reach out to the universe, and I visualize that God has already given me that defensive thing or something, to make my life better. So we really need to visualize things getting better, visualize people understanding this. And I need to be more careful about my language, because I'm like, I hope that this is going to get better. I think that people are learning more about this, but we really need to say people are learning more about this. I know that things are going to get better. Things are getting better. We're getting better at explaining ourselves. People are understanding this more and finding the information themselves. We need to be really positive, really positive in our belief about this. Also, kind of like this saying, the smarter you get, the less you speak. You grow to realize not everyone is worth confrontation. Your time is valuable. Your energy is priceless. You won't waste either on people that don't deserve them. And now, like, I've had to learn this, because before I knew I was targeted, I would take on any fight. Like I would, every little thing, if somebody had wronged me in a little way, I'd really throw myself into it and throw myself in that argument. And anything that was just a little bit, that bothered me a little bit, I'd jump in and, argue with somebody about it. But, with targeting, what I've realized is that picking our battles is very important. So if you have somebody that bothers you, like I'll tell y'all the other night, and it wasn't my fault, but somebody on the calls who I'm really good friends with is a TI. Like he was talking about something about his gang stalking being very, very physical, and people were offering help. And I kind of wrote in the chat, I was like, oh, well, you just need to, ignore your gang stalking. Just try and pretend like they don't even exist when they gang stalk you. And he got so upset, and he was just like, you don't know my situation, you don't know me, and you're being passive aggressive. And he tore into me. And, at first I was like, okay, well, I'm not even going to respond, because I didn't do anything. Like I was kind of just typing in the chat something, not even directly towards him. But then, like, after the conference call, he called me, and my first instinct was like, don't even answer the call, because you know where this is going to go. And I was like, I've got to answer the call. And when I got on the call with him, he was like calling me passive aggressive. He was like, you're being passive aggressive, and everybody was like harassing me on the call. So he was saying that everybody was harassing him, when like it had been the first call that I'd gone to in a long time, and I was just, I was enjoying the call. It was a New Year's call, and I typed in something to the chat, but he kept saying that I was passive aggressive, and he kept needling me, and it was his fault. Like it was totally his fault. He watches these videos, so he'll probably give me a thumbs down. But I started yelling at him. I started because, you know, I'm being attacked, and I was like, you know, nobody's gonna like push in on me. Nobody's gonna, you know, accuse me of doing something that I didn't do. And I started cussing him out. And I said, you want to see passive aggressive? I'll show you aggressive aggressive. And I started yelling at him. I was like, fuck you. Don't ever call me. And I, you know, and then after that, what happened after that call, for like 2 days, I felt bad about what I had done. I felt bad about yelling at him, even though he was coming at me, even though he was, you know, saying things that I didn't do, like attacking and harassing other people, basically. But I shouldn't even answer that call. I should have said, you know, I'm dealing with this targeting, somebody that's saying something that I didn't even do and coming at me. You just ignore them. You just ignore them, and you come at it a couple of days after. You can maybe talk to him when you're in a better mood, but instead I charged in and I was like, oh yeah, you say that I'm passive aggressive, and it just hurt me. Like because I see that targeted individuals, most of us, we're good people, and we don't want to hurt anybody, and we don't just want to throw our weight around, and we want to do stuff with a purpose. And I realized that I was kind of just defending myself when it would have been better just to not deal with it. I'm not saying we don't deal with our problems, but picking and choosing your battles is so important. And I think as we are targeted and the years go by, you know, and so many years have gone by, we've got to realize to fight the good fights, to fight the important fights, and not just waste our energy on everything that comes along, on every little thing that comes along that is not justified towards us. And that's especially regarding, you know, gang stalking. You know, don't waste your energy yelling at somebody who it's not even going to change the targeting. It's not even going to make things better. It's just going to make you feel worse. You know, save the prime fights for what's really important, which is shutting this program down in a big way. You know, and I didn't even really want to talk about that because you know, it's a targeted individual friend. He's a good friend, but you know, he was really off. Like nobody, like I was not being passive aggressive to him. I wasn't even writing the comment really to him, and I was just trying to help. But you know, be careful about that too, as TIs, guys. If you're talking to people, and they don't say the exact right thing to you about your targeting, maybe they don't understand exactly what your targeting's like, but they're trying to help you. Be careful about, you know, getting on to them about not knowing what you're going through, or being like, oh, you know, you don't know anything, and you know, your targeting's different. If people are trying to help you, and maybe they don't do it exactly right, be careful about how you treat them. Because if you treat too many people bad and you're yelling at them and they don't understand and nothing they say is good enough, and you come up with some other well my attacker's going to do this, so you know, your advice doesn't work, people will stop trying to help you. Like, and that's what I'd like to tell that guy. It's like, if he gets on to everybody about every single word they say, I didn't even want to say anything to him, because I was like, he's going to come back and he's going to be like, you don't know what I'm going through, and just start attacking me. I kind of question what's going on with him now. But let me read a couple more. I really want to get on to some important articles tonight. One that I found that's extremely important. So I might just read one more of these, maybe read a couple of them before I do a video. What was a good one? This is a good one. Vibrate so high that the toxic people in your life fall back because they no longer know how to approach you. So, and that's about vibrating a lot higher than this. I think when we, you know, when we are very positive, and we do see that miracles can happen in front of us, and we don't get down about, you know, it's hard to not get down about our situation because it's so bad. But when you go out in the world and you're not in this you know, attitude of, okay, the next person I'm going to meet, it's going to be a gang stalker and I'm going to have to deal with them. Like, gang stalkers kind of feed on that. They feed on our anxiety and stuff. and also our attackers do too. But if we can keep like a more positive mindset and like not in ignorance of not knowing, but ignoring gang stalkers, ignoring the evil people because they feed off of our reactions, you can get up in that higher vibration where a lot of the things that your attackers are going to do to you aren't working how they want to, and they'll go to other protocols, they'll go to other things. So you'll constantly keep them working on what does work on this, on this target. And if you make most of the protocols that they do, I mean, I know that the torture protocol kind of works on everybody. So hitting us with microwaves in the head, I don't think anybody's really going to be like, oh, well, that doesn't bother me at all. But I'm talking about like, because I have the Audible V2K, and I've started to just ignore it. Like I never even respond to it with my inner voice. Sometimes I accidentally do. But I used to yell at my V2K all the time, and they loved it. They fed on it. They'd make the V2K louder. They seemed to have things more in sync with what they were doing with me. But now that I ignore it, it becomes quieter and quieter. And they don't seem to know what to say on the V2K. So they just have this very, very weird conversation going on where the woman wants to leave and she doesn't want to do it anymore. And the guy's like, no, we have to do this. So it's kind of just the same thing over and over. And it's kind of lost its emotional effect on me. I think that's really important. I'm going to read one more, and then I'm going to get to the important information. Oh, I like this. Your problem has already been solved. You just haven't got to that point in time yet. And this is what I really feel, guys, and I truly feel this, that like I can almost feel the future of this program not being there in my life. Like, and I don't know if a lot of you guys feel this, but you can reach out like a couple of years from now, and you can feel like you're going to be free of this. You can feel like things have changed. I don't know what that's called. There's some kind of definition for being able to kind of feel the future, and it's kind of a quantum thing. And I'm not like saying you can like see exactly what's going to happen in the future, like images of exactly what's going to happen in the future, but feeling that this isn't going to be forever. It's a way of what's the word? Oh God, there's a word for people who, I guess, just futurists, being a futurist, seeing ahead of this, seeing ahead of how dumb this program is and how wasted all this technology is, and seeing to a point in time where people will know about it enough that they're not going to put up with it, that they're going to get angry enough not to put up with it anymore. And I can feel that time. Like I can feel it deep within inside of me that there will be a time when I'm not dealing with this, and maybe I'll be dealing with other challenges and things like that, but I can feel change. And like I said the other day, it's like I don't know if this huge change, well, I don't know how it's going to come about. So like I don't know if it's the program stopping in a year or 5 years, or maybe that we find things like direct cranial stimulation or actual fields that we can put around our body to completely block this out. But I do feel that change, and that's what I'm fighting for. I mean, I think that's what we're all fighting for. Okay, let me go to the first article. This was something I found tonight. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, I thought this was, how we're always talking, like most targeted individuals, we know that the Department of Defense, we know that these organizations have teamed up with telecommunications companies. Like we know that the DoD and the CIA is like working with AT&T. We know they're working with like Verizon. We know that they're working with the people that are putting up 5G and these cell towers and microwave towers and everything. But this is an article that actually gives like clear evidence that type of stuff is going on. So when we know something is common sense, like the military industrial complex is definitely teaming up with telecommunications, and basically telecommunications is part of the military industrial complex anyway. We know these things, but when we talk about them with people, we want to have good evidence. We want to have things that it's like, look at this faction of the DoD teaming up with AT&T so that the military can get more of these advancements, so that the military can ask these telecommunication companies, like, you know, the NSA can ask AT&T or Verizon for certain information. They're locked, you know, finger within finger with each other. And give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to take a drag of my electronic cigarette. Like I can hear things better out of my ears, but like I haven't talked to anybody today, and it's still kind of weird. I wish this sinus infection would go away. And it really, my attackers have been using it because when my ears are stopped up, I can hear that high pitched ringing in my head a lot more. I'm gonna get through it though. This is a new year. I'm gonna have, you know, like I know I bitch about my targeting a lot, and I think I probably won't stop doing that, but I wanna bring my spirit and my mind into a mindset of, okay, this horrible thing is happening. What's the most positive thing that I can do with it? Because like in the targeted community and on conference calls and on videos, and even me, I do this a lot. We're still telling our stories. We're still talking about like exactly the details of what these people are doing. And this one time when I was gang stalked, you know, and that's an important part. We need to tell our stories, but I feel like, you know, I don't know. I don't want to say like don't tell your stories, because, you know, I still want to tell what's going on with me, and that's important for gathering evidence. But just something inside me, like I want to surpass things, and I feel like in the target individual community, a lot of people, a good percentage of targeted individuals, they're really moving forward. They're like, okay, we know this information, now let's go to this information. Okay, we know why they're gang stalking. We know how DHS fusion centers work, and we know how this stuff is run by money, experimentation, you know, all these things about control. We know those things, but I do see sometimes, like on conference calls and things, we still have people coming in that are like, what's going on? Like, what is this? And I really want to kind of surpass that of like, oh, we have no idea of what's going on. Like the other night on Ella's call, Dr. Matthew Aaron came on, and he was saying how, you know, we really don't know who's doing this. Like that we shouldn't say exactly in detail who is doing this and who it's coming from, because those are like highfalutin claims that are hard to believe. And he may have been talking about something else, but from where I was sitting, I was like, what do you know, we do know who's doing this. We know the DoD is involved. We know the CIA is involved. We know the military industrial complex is involved. We know the NSA is involved. We know it's a very complicated pyramid of who's doing what, but we basically know who's doing it and why they're doing it. You know, they're doing it for research and development of the weapon systems. They're doing it for experimentation of the brain and the nervous system and how they can control it, and about people's different personalities and groups and things like that. He may have been talking about something else, but I was like, we do know. We know the majority of who's doing this and why. Now, there could be one-offs. You know, there could be one-offs about, like, you know, it could be a criminal group or the mafia in certain people's situation, or, you know, Black Cube or things like that. But that's not the largest percentage of what people are going through. You know, the largest percentage of what people are going through is the military industrial complex, you know, to feed the surveillance state, to feed the surveillance system, and also to advance this weaponry, you know, and research the nervous system of the brain. But I'm going to get into this article. I just need to take a moment here for my electronic cigarette. And he may have been talking about something. He may have been like just not saying, like, I don't know, like specifically detailing like only one group is doing it. Like, okay, there's an Air Force base here and they're controlling all of it. I think he was talking about not making claims like that. But we really do, we know in a general sense and in a specific sense, in a lot of ways, who's doing this. And I feel like we need to go past that. And when we talk about who's doing it, we need to say it in a very confirmed, concrete way, because the people who are doing this, they're writing about it. You know, they're not hiding this. They're hiding the fact that they're torturing innocent civilians, but they're not hiding the fact that they're doing research and development on directed energy systems. That they're actually, and I'll read this other article after this one, but they're actually having a conference to talk about doing more experimentation. This needs to be more. There needs to be more research and development going on with these weapons. Okay, so let me read this to you guys. This is from Defense Systems. And this is basically, you know, an online, it's like online journalists for the DoD. So these are people who basically, it's like who work in the military industrial complex, and there's magazines for artificial intelligence and directed energy weapons and things like that that the DoD is putting out, because they want to put it out so that people have it in their subconscious mind, so that they have investors investing in it, so that they get people who are maybe just going into the Army or just going into the Navy or just going into the Air Force, so they get them knowing about what the military industrial complex is working on, so that, you know, they can be prepared to work on those things. So there's a lot of different reasons why they're putting out this information, but it's out there. You know, this stuff is out there. It's not on ABC Nightly News or NBC Nightly News, but it's definitely out there. So this is Emerging Tech. Air Force announces partnership to push emerging tech, by Lawrence C. Williams, June 8, 2018. The Air Force Academy wants to be just as innovative as the private sector, so it's teaming up with telecom giant AT&T. And now we know, you know, they're basically announcing that the Air Force Academy is going to team up with AT&T, but we know that the DoD is already teamed up with AT&T and with Verizon and all those kind of telecom giants. You know that those telecom giants are giving their full cooperation for anything that these people want to do with directed energy weapon systems, with 5G, and with microwave towers. AT&T announced a 5-year cooperative research and development agreement with the Academy June 7th, which will focus on cybersecurity, the Internet of Things, smart-based solutions, 5G, and software-defined networking, among other emerging technologies. The Air Force Academy's director for CyberWorks, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Chiaramonte, said in a statement that using the telecom company's resources could improve our understanding and use of technology and advance our academic and research objectives. Now, why? Okay, so the Air Force Academy teaming up with AT&T and saying it's going to advance our academic and research objectives. Now, what are they trying to research with big telecom? What are they trying to research with microwave towers? What are they trying to research with 5G? They're obviously, you know, researching directed energy weapon systems, unmanned and manned systems, and also the research and experimentation that they're doing on human beings with microwaves and you know, the whole electromagnetic spectrum. So these people, I mean, they talk about it. Research objectives. What type of research objectives would you have with a 5G network? You know, with microwave towers, it's going to be surveillance, surveilling, you know, surveilling populations. It's going to be about surveilling cities. It's going to be about surveillance, but not only surveillance, but actual affecting people with these, you know, directed energy weapon systems. The partnership would provide Academy cadets with hands-on demonstrations and experience beyond the classroom. It would also fit under the AFA's larger research mission, which includes 19 centers and 2 institutes as part of their research program. AT&T Public Sector's Client Executive VP Rocky Thurston described the partnership via statement as being an action-oriented academic think tank that will help pinpoint the Air Force's current and future needs. So, I mean, I thought that was a pretty big deal when they're announcing that the Air Force Academy is going to be teaming up with AT&T about 5G and stuff like that. And this is just, you know, this is an article where they are actually saying, you know, what they're doing. There's a lot of stuff that they don't come out with, but they, you know, they do speak about most of the stuff. I kind of want to read about the author real quick. Lauren C. Williams is a staff writer at FCW covering defense and cybersecurity. What's FCW? I don't know what FCW is. I guess it must just be this online magazine. Prior to joining FCW, Williams was the tech reporter for Think Progress, where she covered everything from internet culture to national security issues. In past positions, Williams covered healthcare, politics, and crime for various publications, including the Seattle Times. Williams graduated with a master's in journalism from University of Maryland, College Park, and a bachelor's in dietetics from the University of Delaware. I just sometimes, you know, in this, I mean, we know this, you know, we know this exists, but I'm not sure about with this, the author of this, but, you know, we know that these journalists will actually be working for some of these intelligence agencies, will actually be working for the DoD, and then also newspapers and online magazines and things like that. I do get the feeling of that with this article. Okay, and now I want to show something that we've all seen, but it's going to kind of connect to the next article that I want to write, that I want to read. I think I might go through 2 more articles, but we've all seen this. I just want us to keep this in mind. You know, this was from 2003, and there's probably some things that that people have found, and I'm going to be searching a lot more for people from the Pentagon and the DoD and the CIA talking about directed energy weapon systems, talking about research and development, like with press conferences. I'm going to be searching that a lot more and probably showing, you know, when the targeted individuals question Michael Hayden, and I'm having trouble with words here, but interactions like that, you know, I'm going to be really looking for those things so we can get it right from the horse's mouth. Because when we get these things, when we hear these things right from the horse's mouth, people really can't question that. You know, when we're saying, okay, well, it's just common knowledge that, you know, people are being hit with directed energy weapons, that research and development is going on. When you just say that to a person without any kind of evidence, without any kind of articles, without any, the DoD, without any evidence of them saying it, which I put a ton out on this channel, a ton of evidence from the DoD speaking about directed energy weapon systems. When we say that to people, a lot of people will go and research it themselves, or they will say, okay, well, yeah, we know that. But a lot of people will use that as an excuse. They will use that we don't have evidence as an excuse to be like, okay, well, that's just a conspiracy theory. And I think that's common sense. But we really need to just be stacking up the evidence, We've been telling people so much about this. We've been speaking about it and giving our testimonies out for so long, and it has made a difference. You know, people do go and research it, but now we need to take the step to the next level. We need to take the step to the next level where we're like, here it is. Here's the Cuban embassy attack. Here's the China consulate attack. Here's Donald Rumsfeld, and I think it's okay, General Richard Myers. Here they are talking about research and development with directed energy.
Secretary, can I ask you a question about some of the technology that you're developing to fight the war on terror, specifically directed energy and high-powered microwave technology? When do you envision that you can weaponize that type of technology?
It is in for the most part, the kinds of things you're talking about are in varying early stages. Do you have anything you'd add?
Now, she asked him, now, when are you going to weaponize these technologies? When are you going to weaponize directed energy weapons? And when somebody's talking about weaponizing something, they're talking about using it on people. You know, they're also talking about maybe shooting aircrafts down with it and shooting down missiles and things like that. But weaponization, it insinuates use on human beings. And now these people are answering it. They're answering it about like, okay, it's in the early stages. Early stages of what? Let's spin it. Let's listen to what he says.
I think they are in early stages and probably not ready for employment at this point.
In the normal order of things, when you invest in research and development and begin a developmental project, you don't have any intention or expectations that one would use it. On the other hand, the real world intervenes from time to time, and you reach in there and take something out that is still in a developmental stage, and you might use it. So your question's not answerable. It depends on what happens in the future and how well things move along the track, and whether or not someone feels it's appropriate to reach into a development stage and see if something might be useful, as was the case with the unmanned aerial vehicles.
But you sound like you're willing to experiment.
I think that's the point. I think that we have, I think, from the beginning of this conflict, I think
you said, but you are going to experiment. You are going to experiment, and what Donald Rumsfeld says, and I mean, I know we've all seen this. I mean, this is like 101 for any targets, you know, who are learning about directed energy weapon torture and things like this. We've seen this video a million times. I think everybody has. Could be wrong about this, but it's important to know that she's asking about weaponization, and she's asking about experimentation. And he's saying, you know, we're not expecting to use something in a prototype stage, but we reach in the real world and we use it. And that's what the military-industrial complex does. At this point in time, they can do whatever they want. They think they have clearances, and it's, you know, they basically, you know, Karen Stewart was talking about this on Ellis Call. You know, they declared it wartime after 9/11, and it's been wartime since then. So even though the experimentation, the human experimentation rules are the same as they've been since World War II, then it gave them further justification to do whatever they wanted to anybody they wanted, because, hey, it's wartime. We've got to fight terrorism. So we got these directed energy weapons. We've got to research and develop them so we can use them against other countries and stuff. We got to use them on people. Research and development requires use on human beings to figure it out. People need to understand that. I know that we all do as targeted individuals, but normal people who aren't being directly targeted, because everybody's being targeted. Everybody's being targeted at this point by microwave towers and, you know, cell phones and computers, just, you know, and smart meters. But anybody who's not being directly targeted by weapon systems, you know, by these remote platforms and things like that, they need to understand that that is the basis. That is the basis for research and development with directed energy weapons, is to use them on people, to see how people react. And they can't get volunteers, because if they got volunteers for this, those volunteers would sue the ever-loving shit out of these people. If they hurt them in the ways that they're hurting us, they would sue the DOD. They would sue any kind of universities or hospitals that were using this. They would sue the pants off them, millions and millions of dollars. So they know that they have to do it in this secretive way.
Has been very open to looking at new things, if there are new things available, and has been willing to put them into the fight even before they've been fully wrung out. And I think that's not referring to these two particular cases of directed energy or high-powered microwave, but sure. And yes, we will continue to do.
You see what he did? Did you see what he did when he was like high-powered microwave? Like he was kind of like opening his collar. It looked like he was kind of sweating, like he was sweating near his collar a little bit. And just the way that he talks, you can tell that they don't want to reveal too much about this and things like that. I think but that's that's a very important video. I just wanted everybody to remember that, because I think we've all seen that. Okay, and I want to go through. Okay, I'll go through 2 more articles. I didn't want to make it long because I think I'm gonna head to Ella's call probably after I do this video. And I think I might do a video soon, just giving out all the information for like for Derek's call, Ella's call, Neil's call, Laura's call, Frank's call, Ryan's call. Just giving a rundown so everybody will have those numbers and then can check out some of the calls during the week and you know, find the one that you like best, that you can speak out the most, or you like the moderator. But let me go ahead and read this. I'm going to read the whole article. I hope it's not too long. This is actually coming up. So it's a joint conference on, I think, T&E. What is T&E? I think T&E is, it's something in experimentation. But I wanted to read out who they're going to have there. And the focus of it, like the focus, okay, so joint conference on T&E support to prototyping and experimentation. Now they're already prototyping and doing experimentation, right? But this is important to see here, this joint directed energy professional society event. It's important that we know, because this gives us a lot of hope. I know this is a, you know, I'm very, sometimes I have a hard time finding hope, but we've got to see that a huge, one of the major weaknesses of not only this program, but the people that are at the head of this program, one of the huge weaknesses that we have on them is ego. Like from the people that are doing the gang stalking all the way up to the people who are at the head of the pyramid or the top of the pyramid for a directed energy weapon, you know, manufacturing, deployment, experimentation, you know, setting up all this stuff. You know, they have a huge ego. They have a huge ego, and it won't be long if everything is not revealed about this, if they're not actually coming out with articles and events saying, hey, we are experimenting on innocent human beings and we basically have to, we'll probably see that. I bet you guys that we will see an article saying, yeah, well, we had to experiment on human beings, you know, because it's the only way to advance these weapons. And we've seen some articles from people who know that they're doing experimentation on humans. They know that they're doing experiments on the brain and the nervous system, but they don't have access to the hard data, like the hard data of those programs and protocols. They're kind of speaking, knowing about neuroweapons and knowing that, hey, if the Army wants to advance these, if the military-industrial complex and these contractors want to advance these things, they're going to have to experiment on human beings. So this is a really important thing when they're having, because it can show you kind of a timeline of, okay, they're not talking about this, they're not talking about that, but now they're talking about prototyping and experimentation of directed energy weapon systems, of neuro weapons and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and just read this real quick. I'm saying a lot tonight. Like my throat really hurts and feels like my head is like in a clear cube or something like that. And my attacker just now, the guy goes, he's lost it. He's saying, I've lost it. They do that a lot. And then the woman just now goes, I hate this. Can't do this anymore. I hate my V2K. It's so generic now too. It's very much like an automated kind of conversation all the time, because they have so many things they've really said, and they're just kind of cycling those in. I think my male attacker is trying, because I'm kind of nervous because like my head stopped up, so I'm like having a hard time thinking. Well, not to mention the the remote neural manipulation stuff like that. But he tries to, like when I'm putting out information and stuff like that, my V2K will really try and make me feel like nobody's listening to me, or they're like, nobody's listening to you. They'll say that a lot. They'll say nobody cares. And I totally don't believe it. Sometimes they get me to believe that maybe people who are not directly targeted are not listening. but I know that you guys are, and I know that any information that we can get out, and we've got to climb up the informational stairs, and we've got to keep going. That's why it really, sometimes, like, I'll get on conference calls and it concerns me that it feels like we're just spinning our wheels. Like everybody's just telling their stories, and don't take it as me saying people should not tell their stories, and that's not a good thing, because people should get out what's happening to them, so that they can move forward. But sometimes it just feels like it's like on the conference calls, people move out of the conference calls. So like there are people who've been there for a couple of years, they'll kind of go away, and then new people will come in, and it's like then they're talking about their situations, and it keeps it in the same place. And now that I haven't been to the conference calls in a while. I've been to a couple, but that is changing. It is changing, but I would just like to see that change more, where when somebody comes into a conference call, we don't have anybody saying, what the hell is this? Like, who the hell's doing this? We have no idea about it. There's so much information out there. There's so much hardcore evidence of these agencies, the DoD and the CIA, and IARPA, the NSA being involved in this. Now, to figure out all that mess, that big complicated pyramid of manufacturers versus research and developers, when does a university do the research and development? When does a hospital do the research and development? When does a contractor, like a security contractor for the DoD, when are they doing the research and development protocols? That's kind of hard. It's hard to figure out the details of in specific situations, who's doing what, who's doing the research and development, who manufactured those weapons that they're using. There's all kinds of people within that pyramidal structure. But for a general aspect of what the hell's going on and why are these people doing this, like why are they attacking us, we know it's for control. It's to learn more about these weapons. It's to advance these weapons more. It's to learn more about the nervous system and the brain. So we have a good general idea because of the evidence that we're finding, and I want that to continue. I want us to move forward at an exponential rate with what we know, so we can say, okay, well, we knew that. Now let's move on. What else do we need to learn? Instead of like always being about like, why are these people doing this? Why are these people doing? And I did that for a long time. For many years, I was like, what could make these people do something like this? How could they not have any morals? How can they be so soulless? How can they be so satanic? And I think some of the attackers, they aren't like straight up just worshiping Satan. Some of them are. I think some of them are. Some of them are Satanists, and they are hardcore cultists. But some of them are like, ex-military people that are like, well, we're doing this for our country and stuff like this. And if people, I just want to spend less time saying, why are these people doing this? Like, I don't want to give my attackers that much attention anymore. Like, what's making them do this? And why would they ever do this? So we can figure out, what do we need to do to stop this? Because there's always going to be evil in the world. There's always going to be evil people. Now, evil, I don't know if it's ever been this strong, if it's ever had this much money and this much control of the system. I'm sure it has, in the past. I can think of like Genghis Khan and stuff like that. But I just want us to be like, because this is how we're going to have success. What do we need to do to feel better? What do we need to do so that we can have a little bit of energy to then do activism? And then what are we going to do during our activism? And who are we going to get in? What other groups, what other people, like people who are experts on this stuff, can we get to? Can we talk to? Like that, like this organization. And I hope some of you guys have called this organization. I have not. I put off things like that, and I'm sorry, guys. Like I'm still kind of working on getting in touch with people, because I have that. I guess maybe my attackers do kind of influence me a little bit on, like, calling people. I'm like, they're not going to be able to do anything for us. But I'm going to get out of that old pattern, because at the beginning of this, when I first started getting targeted, I was like, I'm going to call the FBI. They'll help me. I'll call the FCC. There will be somebody there to help me. And now I'm going to take another run at it. You know, I'm going to call these people like in the Alliance for Human Research Protection. And then that guy who did that presentation, I need to call him. And I need to follow up with the University of Pennsylvania, which I did call them, but I didn't get to anybody that I wanted to talk to. Give me 1 second, guys. But my point is, we need to take a more proactive stance. Like, and I'm talking about anybody who's targeted. Like anybody who's targeted with this stuff, whether it be chemicals, whether it be directed energy weapons or both, you know, neuro weapons or, you know, all of those, and gang stalked or just gang stalked, we need to take a more proactive approach and definitely be aware of what's happening, because I'm gonna be doing some videos where I drive around in my car and, you know, I get some one headlight vehicles. So getting documentation of what's happening and what's being done to us by these people and by these technologies, but not getting hung up on it. We don't want that to be the end all be all. We don't want to go on a conference call and be like, God, you know, this is happening to me and this is happening to me and this is happening to me and it's horrible and I can't believe it. At the end, you know, we none of us can be, we cannot do that. You cannot, don't count on me, don't count on Brian too, don't count on Ella, don't count on Dr. Horton, don't count on Romola D, don't count on Richard Lighthouse, don't count on Dr. Matthew Aaron, don't count, you know, I'm just saying, don't count on somebody speaking out and doing a project to speak out for you, to do what you can do, to proactively do what you could do for this community and do for yourself to get out of this. Because I think a lot of people do that. I'm not sure. I've never been that type of person to just be like, okay, well, Ella's speaking out, so I'll just, you know, she's putting up billboards and I'll just kind of wait. I'll wait to see what she does. You know, hopefully she'll save us. None of us can be like that. And I'm not saying that Dr. Horton and Romola D, Brian too, and Ella, you know, that those people are not speaking out and doing a great job and getting us there. You know, Karen Stewart, you know, Yaya, I call her Yaya, but Midge at Targeted Justice and Jack Christiana, they're doing a great job. They're getting out there and they're moving us forward. But you got it today. And I'm talking about today. No matter how bad you're hurt, and this may sound, you know, I guess I excuse myself when I'm saying get off, you know, do something. Even if you can't get out of bed, you can get on the internet and research and send that research to somebody in email. Find somebody, like, and I'm not just talking about me, but I would be a good example of this. But if you watch somebody's YouTube videos, like say you watch, I don't know, just say you watch any targeted individual like Scott Snitzer or Steve, or I can't think of that many right now, but if you really like their videos, send them information. Send them some information that you research that you have not seen out there. You know, there's many things you can do, even with not a lot of energy. But that's the first thing, you know, guys. Like if you really feel like you're bedridden and this stuff is just kicking your ass, I mean, and I know that feeling too, but if you feel like you can't do anything and you're just sitting there dying and waiting for somebody to save you or waiting to die, then you need to take steps. And I guess this doesn't sound cold-blooded. I really care about y'all, and I really care about people who are really knocked down by this, because I've been really knocked down before. I'm still knocked down. I'm still isolated. I still have a hard time, you know, communicating, and I get nervous because my brain's been so messed with microwaves. So I understand. But I'm just saying, if you are in that spot where you just can't do anything, where you are like, man, they've got me pinned down, they control my life, they control everything I do, my attackers control everything I do, I can't go out because of gang stalking, then what your priorities are finding defenses that can give you relief, that can give you energy, and it's about battling some of those things. Like if you feel like you can't go outside because people are going to gang stalk you, then it's about prioritizing building up some spiritual and mental defenses and understanding that you're not guilty of a crime. You're not guilty of anything. So that people who are involved in this, they are the guilty ones. When you see somebody and you know that they're gang stalking you, you look at them like they're the craziest person in the world, because they are. We're made to look crazy. There's a difference between being in the wrong and being crazy and being delusional and being made to look like that. We're being made to look like that, but now these people gang stalking, these people microwaving us and things like that, they are in the wrong. They are in the wrong. They are the delusional ones. Even people, you know, even good people that we talk to who are just like, okay, you're mentally ill. You're mentally ill because you believe in directed energy weapons and you believe that people are hitting you with these things. They're delusional. So we need to understand the power of truth that we have. We have a truth. This is happening to us. We are not delusional. We're made to look delusional. And there's a big thing that happens with us, and it's happened with me, where I've been conditioned to feel guilty, even though I know that this is true, because people don't want to talk about it, because I can't talk I can't talk with everyone about it. And so I start feeling like, hey, you know, I don't feel like I'm delusional. I don't feel like it's not happening, but I feel like, you know, I've got to acquiesce to the world. I've got to acquiesce to these people who don't believe in this. And that's not the truth. They have to acquiesce to us, because everybody's going to have to know about this sooner or later. And it's going to touch everybody's lives sooner or later. So this isn't, when you step up for yourself, when you really take control and understand that you're doing something important, it's not taking somebody's time out of their day. It's not being selfish. This is not being selfish. People want to make it look like selfishness. I think some people want to make us look like selfish, mentally ill people who are always talking about ourselves. And, you know, we think we're so important that the government's after us, when that is true that we're important, but the government is doing things to people based on PSYOP protocols, learning more, making more money on weapons and things like that. So it kind of doesn't have to do with how special we are sometimes. But we are really special. But, you know, it's just like, we've got to get in that perception. And let me read this. Let me read this other thing, and then I may just read that one article about that symposium, and then kind of end it, because it's getting close to 8. But I do have another article. I'll maybe make a short video tomorrow going through that. What did I want to look at? Okay, I wanted to look at this. This was one that I wanted y'all to see, a saying that's so important. And I do talk about it in certain aspects sometimes. And it was really, okay, here it is. Well, it showed in the big. Oh man, it's not. Okay, here it is. How do I get this off of there? Go away. I'm not interested in this. I just want this off my screen. How do you just get it off your screen? Can I just, okay, here it is. Boy, I'm a dum-dum tonight. Okay, this one is really important. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. This is so important, guys. This is about perspective, because throughout this whole thing, and, you know, I've been beaten down, and I know we've all been kind of conditioned by the pain and conditioned by feeling trapped. But from the very beginning of this, it was like, in my head, I know a lot of you in your guys' heads and your spirits, you said, what can I do to make my life better, to get out of this, to help other people? Now, when we look at it that way and we say, we can do what's right, we can do what's right, no matter what anybody thinks, no matter what anybody tells us, no matter if we got people coming at us. Sometimes we got people coming at us, accusing us of things. I don't want to get too much into that again. It's just really on my mind. It's a very important thing to not say things you're going to regret, you know, even if somebody's really attacking you. And that really got to me, because I don't like to make unwise decisions and, you know, raise my voice and stuff like that. So if some of y'all are just showing up, I was talking about an incident earlier with a TI friend, and it's just, I mean, and I don't want to call anybody, I want to say he's being very hyper vigilant and looking at, like I said, like he was talking about gang stalking and how people were, you know, being physically aggressive towards him. and somebody said, you know, you got to just pretend you're deaf or something like that. And I said, if you're gang stalked, you know, if you're gang stalked, you should just, you know, just completely ignore them, act like they don't exist. And like he was coming back with like, if I'm gang stalked, you're saying that I'm not gang, you know, you're saying you don't believe what I'm saying. And like he just started attacking me right away. And by the end of the night, when I talked to him after the conference call, I cussed him out. And I said, don't call me anymore, because it was just like, to me, and you know, he probably watches these videos. But he's being like, you know, if we don't understand the details of what he's going through, and somebody gives him advice, and they're just maybe it's not what he wants to hear, maybe it won't help his situation, but they're trying to help, he gets really angry that they have not studied what has gone on with him. Yeah, I'm going to get off of that, but it really bothered me. I felt like, you know, I was really attacked. I felt like he attacked the fuck out of me. Now, excuse my language, guys. But I felt like he really attacked me. But I reacted wrong. What I should have done is what my first instinct was to do, is to not answer him on the phone because he called me twice, and I said, I'm not going to answer that. He's in a bad state. He's probably going to attack me again. And then, you know, I have a temper right now. I have a huge temper because of all this, because we all have a lot of weight on us. I'm trying to get this weight, like of myself putting weight on me, and feeling like I have to put all the information out there, because tons of other people are putting information out about targeting. You don't have to be the end all be all in this fight. Don't think that you have to be like, you know, I have the information, I need to save everybody. Don't ever feel that way. I don't think I've ever felt that way, but I feel like I can speak out, and I can actually still, you know, move around. So, you know, the weight falls on me to do some of this work. There's a lot of people out there putting out a lot of information. You got to put out information that you really feel like is important. And it could have nothing to do with what the DOD is putting out. It could have stuff to do with a lot of spirituality, things that have really gotten you through this, that have made you strong. It could be anything that is important, that you think has been so important in all this to help you survive, you know. And I've been rambling on a lot tonight, so I kind of want to get through that article, but this is very important, guys. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When we take this, you know, because I do hear some people sometimes, and I know that all targeted individuals are not like this, but they talk about what's happening to them, and then they have this feeling as if they can't change anything, as if they have no power to affect it, as if everything they've tried has not worked and nothing will work against this. That perception has to be changed. This is just technology, and these are just people. There's so many weaknesses, and I've seen weaknesses right now. Like, I've seen weaknesses up to the present point where I found defenses against this stuff. But even if you're a person that maybe doesn't believe that, and you're like, okay, well, Kyle, you know, the grounding worked for you, but it doesn't work for me. And Dave Case's CD worked for you, but it doesn't work for me. Even if some of these things that have been put out defense-wise, you're just like, that doesn't work, there's still other things to look for. There's still other defenses coming up. But I think that a lot of the defenses that have been put out, passive shielding, chemical shielding, you know, getting an external stimulus, things like that, there's something you can do to feel better, something you can do. So we've got to take that mindset of, I'm going to find something to defend myself. I'm going to find something to survive. God did not put you on this world to be experimented on by people and have a sad life and just die and do nothing against that. I think that because we're being experimented on, because we're being put in this situation, God put us here to fight this. God put us on this world to fight evil. And I think that he puts everybody on this world who's good to fight evil. But we've been given a special mission, you know, to fight this, and to trust that if God put us in this situation, that he's not going to abandon us, that he's going to give us things, that he is going to give us solutions, that he's going to give us people in our life, that he's going to give us ideas, and he's going to give us defenses to make things better. We've got to have that perception, and we've almost got to have the perception. And I know that we don't want to, be like, okay, well, everything's good now. We don't want to say that, because in a lot of our cases, that's not true. In my case, that's not true. But we've almost got to say things are going to get better. This is not going to be forever, and I am going to find something. And I'm already feeling into the future a year. I'm feeling into the future a year, and I feel like I'm going to be freer. Like maybe this remote neural manipulation will have affected me more or whatever, but I'm going to be freer in ways that I don't understand. I'm going to be freer because I'm always going to fight. You guys are always going to fight. You're always going to do the right thing. You're not here for those people to experiment on you, for this program to experiment on you, and for you to mean nothing in this world, to only mean something to these evil people. You mean something to God. He put you on this world with a destiny, to help people. Now, if this never stopped, like if this program never stopped, which I don't believe that it will not stop, but I could look back and say, I fought and it didn't stop, but I put information out and I helped people. All you guys, and I know a lot of you guys already help people so much. You're already putting out information. But for guys, for men and women who are being targeted, and you're just like, I don't really want to put information out. I don't really know, what I should do. It makes you feel so much better if you can find something to help people. It takes your mind off of what's happening to you. It makes you feel like you're being productive and you're doing something. You're putting light to the darkness, and it makes a whole lot of difference. And we've always got to just do those things to lift ourselves up and lift other people up. There's always something in every situation that you can do to make it better. Now, I know sometimes situations get worse, and I'm not saying they don't, but there's always, and we need to keep that perception that there's always something just around the corner. And there's always something that we can do to make our own situation and other people's situation a lot better. Let me go ahead. I'm really rambling tonight. I guess I really needed to get some stuff out, which is good. Making these videos is really cool, guys. And anybody who, wants to take a crack at making YouTube videos and putting information out, you'll feel a lot better. Even if I don't know, I've been doing it for so long. I've made 900 videos, and I'm getting to the point where I'm like, man, I've said everything and kind of put out but I really haven't. There's still so much evidence to put out. I found like pages and pages of stuff that I want to go through, and I didn't really want to make a video tonight, but I was like, I better make a video because it's piling up. It's stuff that it's going to disappear off my computer, or I'm going to turn off my computer and not be able to find it again. So there's so much information out there, guys. And I do want to just let y'all know, all this information about the DoD and, the research and development and what's going on with these directed energy weapons. I never put this information out to make us feel like we have more weight on our shoulders, to make us feel more stressed out, like, oh, this stuff's so big and look who's doing it and they have so much money. It's necessary. It's necessary for us to know the truth and where this is coming from and who's doing it, so that we have, with knowledge comes power. So with the more knowledge that we have about exactly what's going on and why people are doing this, what are their motivations? Maybe some of the people at the top who are not even really handling the weapons, they're satanic and they want to just, create a bunch of satanic rituals. That could be one angle. I know that a lot of it is research and development and experimentation, but we understand different people's motivations who are in different positions of doing this, then we can handle them better. I kind of understand the motivations of my attackers. I understand that they're ex-military. They kind of see this as just something they have to do and they're making money for it. They've dehumanized me. It's not that much of a satanic ritual to them, although, they could be Masons or something like that. And it could, some of them in the group could be taken as more of a satanic ritual. But you start to know, why are these people doing it? Okay, for money. Okay, which kind of people are doing it? Which kind of profiles of people? Well, ex-military is doing it, ex-security agents, and things like that. So we can understand their motivations and understand what we're going up against. Well, really not what we're really going up against, what we've already kind of torn into them, and we're trying to kind of get them down and finish this off and get everybody else looking at them, so that they can be shamed and arrested, or whatever happens to them. I don't even care what happens to them as long as they stop attacking us. Okay, let me go through this. I've been just rambling. Joint Conference on T&E Support to Prototyping and Experimentation. In January 2018, ITEA and DEPS combined 2 long-running events and focused the joint theme on how test and evaluation could or should be involved in the DoD trend to focus significant energy on prototyping and experimentation. This focus was encouraged in an August 2017 DoD report to Congress, restructuring the Department of Defense Acquisition, Technology and Logistics Organization and Chief Management Officer Organization, that stated the Department of Defense must increasingly leverage prototyping, experimentation, and other developmental activities to retire technical risk before either weighing down the research and engineering phase with costly procurement decisions or weighing down a procurement program with costly technical risk. Now, you hear how cold-blooded and shitty these people are. Excuse my language again. You may be excusing a lot of my language this year. I'm getting fired up, guys. I'm getting fired up no matter how bad I feel. Getting energy from somewhere, from my spirit, from God. We're gonna do this year, guys. We're gonna make so many awesome changes this year. But you hear this cold-blooded. They're going to leverage prototyping and experimentation and other developmental activities so that they don't have technical risk, so that they're sure that that's a perfect prototype before going and smashing somebody in the Middle East head open with it, before sending voice to skull to a bunch of people in Palestine or I guess I shouldn't say Palestine because, somewhere over in the Middle East. But they're gonna microwave all of our heads and and torture us to retire that risk, that technical risk that anything might break or not be perfect. I mean, these people they value technology and money way over humanity, which is their downfall, and it will be their downfall very soon. Let's speak it into this reality. Speak it to God so that He helps us. We are going to bring these guys down. We're going to bring this program down, and we're going to do it soon. Now, our actions are going to determine that, whether or not everybody gets out and does what they can do. I'm not saying everybody get out on YouTube. I know some people, I don't like it. I don't really like it. I never really wanted to be a YouTube guy. Never really wanted to, do anything where I was in front of a camera, but it's necessary. Find something you can do, because it is necessary, guys. Get fired up this new year. Don't take you don't belong to these people experimenting on you. And the information that they're getting out of you in this evil way, that is not your destiny. It is not your destiny, and it's not my destiny. Please trust me on that and feel it in your heart and pray to God, and He will make you feel that this is not your destiny to be these people's guinea pig. To be this program's guinea pig. That is not your destiny. Feel it with every fiber of your being, and it can begin to help you fight and to figure out what you need to do to make your life better and other people's lives better. Because we can do this. Nothing is too hard. Nothing is too hard. And I sometimes I have a hard time believing that God, doesn't give us too much, only gives us as much as we can handle. Sometimes, I don't know. I'm like, God, you really did put too much on me. But maybe we feel that sometimes, but maybe that means in the long run. Maybe that means in the whole of our life. He never gives us a life that we can't handle. I really believe that, This is our present right now, and it sucks, and we're getting attacked. But we need to look to the future. So we all need to be futurists, and we need to see where this is going. We need to see where people are going to be looking for this information about this technology. We're going to see what we need to really look at what these people, these evil people from these agencies, what are their plans for rolling this out more? Is it just a worldwide thing where they're going to hook into everybody's heads? What are their future plans for this? Not futuristic plans, but future plans for this, so we can cut them off of the past. So we can tell people, hey, look, we know what they're trying to do with this. They're doing this to us. this is what they're going to do next. And then it happens and people are like, okay, well, you were right about that. So we need to be doing that a whole lot more too. All right, it's about 8, so I need to go ahead and finish this up, guys. Key plenary speakers, panel discussions, and technical sessions will be part of the program to identify challenges, solutions, innovations, and a future state, all contributing to moving us closer to creation of an infrastructure and principles conducive to testing and training in a more operationally realistic environment. So the conference highlights, you got Mr. James Face, Director of Defense Research and Engineering for Advanced Capabilities. Under Secretary of Defense Research and Engineering, Dr. David Horner, Director, Information Technology Laboratory, Engineer Research and Development Center, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Dr. Kelly Hammett, Director, Directed Energy Directorate, Air Force Research Laboratory, Dr. Kelly Hammett. Industry panel on prototyping and experimentation and what comes next with Dr. David Stout, moderator, and he's from Booz Allen Hamilton. I've done some videos on Booz Allen Hamilton and the things that they've said about directed energy weapons. Now listen, I did that. I don't know why I said now listen. But listen, when I did that, I did a video on Booz Allen Hamilton, and they are a huge contractor, the biggest. I'm pretty sure they are the biggest contractor. They take the most contracts in the DoD. And this is a panel on prototyping and experimentation. They've already been prototyping and experimenting. Booz Allen Hamilton manufactures and does research and development with these directed energy weapons. I don't know how we could maybe, I hope they have some video from this conference. And I'm going to be looking into that. Maybe some people help me out because I have a hard time like remembering things. I have a hard time with this thing I call my brain, where I can't remember things and remember what I was supposed to do. But I want to really try and maybe find some video, especially from that. If somebody from Booz Allen Hamilton is going to come up and talk about prototyping and experimentation and what comes next, I'd love to hear how he spins the experimentation. Like if he's just going to talk about, using it using it on aircraft, using it on missiles, and then he's just going to leave out the human experimentation, or if he's going to say it in some kind of spin way, like, we're working on how it affects human minds, and as a deterrence, we're learning about the active denial. We're learning how to actively deny. We're learning how to actively deny that we're murdering human beings. He's probably going to say, something that within the context of what he's speaking about, you can say, okay, he just said they're experimenting on human beings. I would bet $1 million that he's going to say something where it's like, okay, yeah, you can pretty much get out of that he's admitting that they experiment on human beings. Okay, Mr. Michael T. McCarthy, Deputy Chief of Staff, U.S. Army Capabilities Integration Center. Dr. Michael Jurgis, Chief Directed Energy Experimentation. Air Force Strategic Development Planning and Experimentation Office. This guy, I'd love to hear what he's going to say. He's the Chief Directed Energy Experimentation, Air Force Strategic Development Planning and Experimentation Office. And we know that they are experimenting on us, so I'd love to see what he's going to say. Colonel Douglas P. Wickard, Chief Policy, Programs and Resources Headquarters, Air Force Test and Evaluation. Dr. Michael W. Zamuda, Director, Strategic Plans, Analysis and Investments, White Sands Missile Range. Okay, breakout technical sessions discussing prototyping efforts and experimentation plans, experimentation test results. So they're going to talk about some of the experimentation and test results, and they're obviously going to talk about results on human beings, probably. We need to find out. This is January 16th. Okay, January 16th and 17th. Let's see if we can get some video from this conference, guys. I don't know where I'd get that, but I bet you they don't allow video to be taken from it. Now I'm gonna find out. Okay, instrumentation and measurement capabilities, space prototyping and experimentation, public and limited distribution sessions. Okay, so there's going to be some public distribution sessions and limited distribution sessions where it's probably information they don't want the public to know who's coming to this thing. There's going to be some exhibits, professional development, short courses and tutorials, T&E of HEL systems, T&E of HPM systems, design of tests for transitioning directed energy weapon systems to acquisition programs for warfighter fielding, predicting and validating prototype performance, Steam Hack Challenge. Okay, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. But before I wrap it up, I wanted to talk about this, and this is just an idea. I don't know. This is just an idea, but I think that we need to find events like this. And I don't know how hard or easy this would be, but it seems like I kind of want to, throw it out there, see if anybody thinks it's a great idea. That we find some of these conferences for directed energy weapon experimentation, and then we show up there and protest, and we show up there with signs saying directed energy weapons are being used to experiment on human beings and stuff like that. If we do these, if we could do some of these, protests or campaigning, we'll say campaigning. We do campaigning at some of these events that are actually, talking about the great things about directed energy weapon systems and what's next. And oh God, look at all the experimentation. What are the results from cooking all those human beings? If we could go out to some of those and maybe do, do some activism at those, we could maybe get the news to focus on us or something like that. And then they would be focusing on what the conference was about. So it wouldn't just be, us out there. Any kind of campaigning, any kind of activism is good. But it wouldn't just be us out there with signs and then people are like asking us about it. It's like, hey, look, here's our signs. Here's what we're talking about. And look, they're having a huge effing, I guess, what would you call it? Conference. They're having a huge conference about this thing. Look, this is what we're talking about, and they're having a huge conference about these weapons. So people can maybe add one and one, can connect the dots on those things. So it's just an idea. I don't know if we would be able to get out to this one. It is, it's going to be in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So maybe some of you guys in New Mexico, I don't know, my car's working. I don't know, we could maybe talk about it. Maybe find the next one like these that's coming up after January, and maybe plan on getting there. Getting there and showing everybody who's looking into this stuff or investing in this stuff or interested in this stuff that they are experimenting on human beings. Because one thing we definitely need to do, and we've been doing that, I mean, everybody's been doing this, but it's to really de-silo. We need to start de-siloing people's knowledge about this. Like if a gang, we want the gang stalker who's stalking us well, and I don't usually talk to gang stalkers, but we just want everybody who's involved in this to know what they're doing, what they're involved in. We want the gang stalker to know they're involved in murder. We want the microwave people who are just my team of people who are microwaving me to know that, thousands and thousands of other people are being tortured just like this and what they're involved in. So we want to start de-siloing this, and because that's how they kind of control these people to do this stuff. They're like, oh, well, you're just attacking this one person, you're just microwaving this one person. Oh, you're just patrolling for terrorists or something like that. So they tell them the wrong thing. They tell them a lie. We want to really de-silo what the other side thinks about this too. So some of them could maybe stop or speak out. We want whoever to come from the other side and speak out. And then after you speak out, then we'll probably hang you from your feet and tar and feather you. All right, guys. I think that's about it for tonight. I have a lot more stuff to go over. Like I've been looking up a lot of stuff and researching a lot of stuff. I'm also going to be doing a lot of videos, probably in my car, getting vehicular stalking. I'm hoping that will increase it so that people who are not targeted will be able to see that, see that evidence. But I really want to do that because I get my mind kind of flowing when I'm moving, and I'll probably be doing a lot of sessions where I'm just talking about stuff and I'm just kind of, brainstorming in my car, because I just feel like, we just need to do whatever. We need to think creatively and do whatever we can, whenever we can. This is kind of my job. I mean, it's not like I'm not getting paid money, and I'm not hired by anybody, but it's kind of, I'm being targeted and I can't work a regular job. So it kind of sucks, but I mean, this getting out awareness and making our lives better and getting defenses to make our lives better, it kind of becomes your job until you can get a regular job, right? Or until we can get out of this. All right, guys, let me come in the chat room. Hey, Autumn, how are you doing? Yeah, calcium. Autumn saying calcium. I don't have my calcium chews here. I do have, I'll tell you, yeah, Albuquerque stanza. I also wanted to tell you guys, like I do take kratom and CBD oil because that takes the edge off. Okay, stanza saying when, where. Let me look that up real quick, stanza. Hold on. It is January 16th and 17th. Well, no, okay, January 15th through the 17th, 2009, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Now, I'm not sure what building it's in. Well, the Steam Hack Challenge is featuring the Albuquerque High School, West Mesa High School, Technology Leadership High School. Okay, let's see. Maybe this is where it is. The 2019 Joint Conference on T&E Support to Prototyping and Experimentation will be held on January 15th through 17th, 2019 in Albuquerque, New Mexico at the Hotel Albuquerque. Hotel Albuquerque, January 15th through 17th, 2019, Albuquerque, New Mexico at the Hotel Albuquerque. It is jointly sponsored by the Directed Energy Professional Society and the International Test and Evaluation Association. Proceedings of the conference will be published. See our online store for proceedings of some previous DE, T&E conferences. Okay, so Hotel Albuquerque in Albuquerque, New Mexico, January 15th through 17th, and they're going to be talking about directed energy weapon experimentation. I don't think anybody's really going to get up at the conference and be like, hey, the experimentation with innocent human beings and American citizens is going great, and this works on human. They're not going to say stuff like that, but they're just going to kind of coldly talk about the technology. Something may slip, because James G. Adorno talks about a lot of this stuff, and you can tell from what he says. You can tell from what he says. You can pick it out. Where he's talking about human experimentation, because they have to experiment with neuroweapons on brains, and they can't just do it on animal brains to learn how they're going to affect enemy soldiers, or actually us. We're the enemy now. The American citizens and citizens of other countries we are the enemies now, for these agencies, because they want to control the population. Anybody who has any kind of original thought or creativity, or isn't just going to go along with evil, we're the enemy now. We're the enemy now in a system that is seeing people wake up and seeing people not like evil, and it's like, well, we got to, the pyramidal system's like, well, that was our plan, to do a whole bunch of evil and control people. So people who are waking up to that, they're our enemies, and this flows down in this pyramidal structure. So Albuquerque, New Mexico, January 15th through 17th. at the Albuquerque Hotel. And they're going to be talking about all this directed energy weapon stuff. And I'm going to see if I can find video, like a video on the conference. If anybody's putting video up, maybe they'll put it on YouTube. I doubt it, though. I think at these things, they try and really just get investors and people interested, and they don't want to getting out to the public. They want to put it out like these DoD articles and things like that. They want to put it out there so the people that they want to find, the people that are interested in investing in it, the people that are actually doing it, like my attackers, and I point that way because I hear them from that way. But they want just who they want, who are going to put money in and not get them in trouble. So they don't want people like us finding some of this information that I've been finding. And it's right out there, guys. I mean, it is right out there. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead to Ella's conference call. But I really appreciate all you guys coming. I hope y'all are doing well. Try the grounding. Stanza, Kyle, it's Stanzy from Santa Barbara. Okay, hey Stanzy. Okay, you email me, Stanza. You email me and I'll call you. Okay. Hey Laura. Yeah, let's do okay. If y'all want to talk about going out there, I just think it's too short of a time period from the 3rd to the 15th. But let's talk about it. Like, I'll bring it on the call tonight. Misty Breeze, I would also, you're saying ground your house and your apartment, not yourself. I would ground yourself too. I'd do both. Because I'm grounding, my left leg. This has saved me. It saved me from all that pulsing pain that I used to have in my left shoulder and like down here and up my jaw. Yeah, email me. But okay, guys, I'm gonna go to Ella's call right now. I go on the computer to free conference call. I go to free conference call, and then you put in TI Angel 2016 when you're on free conference call, and you can get in there by the computer. I don't know the number to her call. If anybody wants to put it, but Misty, you're saying that tethers you. I mean, how does it tether you? Yeah, it's like kind of like shackles or whatever. But if it's grounding out, like all the yeah, I mean, but any kind of defense. I see what you're saying. It's imprisonment. Anything that we use to defend is imprisonment. Let me show y'all. Before we go, let me show y'all what I do all the time. Excuse my hair. This is when I get off of this video, this is what I'll do. Yeah, but it's better. It's psychological imprisonment, but it's better than them having you in a torture prison. If you put yourself in like a Faraday bunker or something like that, and it's helping you to defend from pain, it's better. It's like kind of, yeah, still a prison, but it's better than them putting you in a pain prison that you can't get out. You're telling, yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Misty. I mean, anything that we use for defense is going to feel kind of cramped, and it's not going to be as freeing as not having it, but it's better than letting your attackers control you. Anybody who wants to email me, Stanza, you can email me at vulcanwolverine@gmail.com. Just email me and I'll send my number to you. I don't give my number out on my videos or the conference calls, but if somebody emails me, I'll send you my phone number. See, look, this is kind of a prison, right? Like, I have to do this every time I come home. Like, I have to put on this headgear, right? So it's like 3 balaclavas, 4 of those, they're not skull caps, but it's the other kind. And I put on this hat. I mean, it's kind of a prison, but it's blocking. Okay, thanks. Okay. Oh, I thought you were talking to me, Autumn. All right, guys. Okay, look, see, I mean, it's not ideal. Like, it's not ideal, but it's better than just sitting there with the pain. That's more of a prison. So this, it's like, yeah, I kind of feel a little bit shackled, but it's better than being in the prison of like pulsing pain in my side and my back and my jaw. That's a worse prison than some little straps on my leg. You know, we got to pick. You can't say it's gonna destroy. It's not gonna let you move forward if you're like, anything that's restraining, I'm not gonna do, and I'm just gonna take the pain of these people that are torturing me. You got to pick like, okay, this is a little bit less bad. Clear the silicone off your skin and you will be free. Yeah, I think we have nanoparticulates and stuff on our skin. That cleansing is definitely important. Misty Breeze. All right, guys. So I'm gonna go on to Ella's call, but yeah, Invincible. Yes, it's better than having your tissues destroyed. We gotta pick what's saving our body. I mean, wearing this compared to like torture's pain, I don't feel like I'm in a prison. I feel like I'm freed from that pain. And we got to get into that perception too. We got to get in that perception of, okay, I wouldn't do this in my regular life, but compared to being in pain all the time, this is better, you know? Hey, Tom Green. Yeah, you haven't been around for a while. It's weird. Did you see this, Tom Green? Did you see the big convention about directed energy weapons that's happening January 15th through 17th? And still we're all delusional. All right, well, I'm not going to get into it with that guy, but I love you guys, and I'll definitely see y'all on the next one. I'm going to be trying to do, you know, some good creative videos, maybe some things that are spiritual and can maybe allow us to just feel good for a little while, feel good, and then some information. I'm gonna be doing all kinds of stuff this year, and I think everybody's just getting ready to take another crack at this, take another swing. I love you guys. Stay as comfortable as you can. Try things that are going to defend you. I'm still looking into I look like a fool with this thing on. That's when that guy said that on my chat. I kind of sometimes I want to do videos with this stuff on. But it sucks, but it really helps. It really helps because they're shooting in stuff here, they're shooting in stuff to the back, and I've got my whole neck. And stuff covered. All right, guys. Okay, I'll see y'all on the next one. I love y'all. More information to come. We're getting to it this year. We're getting with it this year. I feel good. I feel no pain. They're hitting me and I feel pain, but I don't feel pain. Like they want me to feel pain, but I don't feel pain. I'm good. It's your boy Kyle. I love y'all, and I'll see you on the next one.